Hi everyone, my name is Lana Miles, and in this video I would like to share with you what kind of real estate I wouldn't recommend to buy for the first-time home buyers. Keep in mind that I work in the Bay Area, California, so everything that I will be sharing with you is applicable to our market. I wouldn't recommend to buy a first-time home buyer a piece of land with the goal of building a home. So here is the situation. A lot of first-time home buyers, they envision their dream homes in mind and they start looking for a dream home and they just want to buy a house that checks all their boxes. And with low inventory, they ended up not finding what they're looking for in their price range. So the next step that they're doing, they started exploring the option of buying a piece of land with the goal of building a home according to their preference. And the thing is here that building a home in the Bay Area is way more complex and way more expensive than you probably think about it. I have a construction team that's working with me, and we actually, as a company, as Westbrook Realty, we build homes from scratch. So we're very familiar of the whole process, and if you're interested, I'll be more than happy to set up a meeting. It can be over Zoom or it can be in-person meeting. I can actually sit down with you and walk you through the process step by step, so you'll see whether it's something that will work for you or not. But more importantly, I will invite the architect and my construction team to this meeting, so they will be able to walk you through the process from the construction side, and you will see what kind of permits you need, how much money you need to spend, how much cash you need in order to accomplish your goals. So if you're a first-time home buyer who has this idea in mind of building a home, my recommendation to you, before you even start doing anything, before you start looking for financing, before you start going and seeing different pieces of land and doing all this extra work, sit down with a real estate professional, with a construction team, with an architect, so to make sure you completely understand what it takes to accomplish your real estate goals. Number two piece of real estate that I would recommend to buy to the first-time home buyer is a fixer-upper. Fixer-upper is the property which is usually in a very bad condition that requires complete tear down or a lot of renovation and remodeling to make it even livable. So the tricky part of with these properties is that most of the time the lender will not do financing for this type of homes. So you have to buy it all cash. And that's something that is very difficult to do for the first-time home buyer unless you have all this cash, right? So just keep this in mind before you start looking for this, because it's not like a requirement that you have to have cash in order to buy this type of homes, but with the competition that we have in the Bay Area, most of those properties are going with cash, and the seller will definitely give a preference to the cash offer over financing, because the seller wants to make sure that he will go with the buyer who can definitely close on this type of transaction, because this type of transaction is not common. Most lenders that I know with, they cannot do financing for this type of homes because this property is just simply not appraising at value. If you would like to learn more about the other details that relate to the fixer-upper, I'll be more than happy to schedule a private consultation with you, because this topic is very broad and it has a lot of details that I want to make sure you know before you start looking for a fixer-upper. The third type of property that I wouldn't recommend to buy for the first-time home buyer is a property that is very outdated, that needs a lot of renovations and remodeling. So the thing is that usually first-time home buyer does not stay in the property that they buy more than 5 years, because life changing, your family may change, your job may change, you may build the equity in your home that you will decide to upgrade to a better neighborhood or for a bigger square footage. So usually your first home is not your last home, and you'll be making this transition to a better house sooner than you think. So that's why it doesn't really make sense to invest a lot of capital and a lot of cash in renovation and remodeling, because you'll be selling your first home very, very soon. But again, I just want to highlight, if you're this type of buyer who bought your dream home from the first try and you're in the position of your life where you can afford it, of course, this doesn't relate to you. If this is your dream home that you think will be your forever home and you're thinking of spending a lot of time there, of course, this rule does not apply for you. And number 4, type of property that I wouldn't recommend to buy for a first-time home buyer is a foreclosure. Again, I just want to emphasize, I'm talking about the Bay Area market. The reason I wouldn't recommend to buy a foreclosure for a first-time home buyer is because most of the foreclosures that we have here in the Bay Area, it has to be a cash transaction. And the fact that it's foreclosure, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're buying it below the market value, because the competition is so high that this bidding process may actually take the price so much higher than the market value. So this is a misconception that foreclosures are usually a good deal. Yes, they are, but maybe not in our market. So at the first-time home, not all the first-time home buyers are able to pay cash for their first home, so that's why I would recommend to look for the foreclosure. If you happen to have a lot of cash for your first home, that's great. However, there is another thing that I would like to share with you about the foreclosure. Most of the foreclosures that you're buying, you are not able to see. You're not able to do the inspections and you're basically blindly buying a home. That may be great and that may be not a problem for a very savvy investor who has a lot of experience with renovation, remodeling, construction homes in the local markets. But it may be a little bit challenging for the first-time home buyer, because what if you buy a house that actually requires a lot of work and you're not gonna get a good deal? And what if you will be in a position where you have to tear down this home, or what if it has a lot of liens, a lot of not permitted areas? It may cause a lot of expense in the future. So that's why foreclosures wouldn't recommend for the first-time home buyer. As a summary, I would like to highlight all the 4 types of real estate that I wouldn't recommend to buy for the first-time home buyer who is looking to buy a property in the Bay Area. Number 1, do not buy land with the goal of building a home there, because that may cost a lot of money and a lot of time, hustle and bustle, and that project may be very difficult for you and you may lose money instead of making money. But again, talk to me before you decide to do that, okay? That's number 1. Number 2, do not buy fixer-uppers. Do not look for fixer-uppers, because you ended up spending, in order to get a fixer-upper, you have to go with cash offer, and if you are not in a position where you can do a cash offer, you just be wasting your time, okay? Number 3, do not buy a house that requires a lot of renovation and remodeling, because you're probably not going to spend a lot of time there. So all this investment that you place in this house, you're probably not going to get it back if you sell it within 2 or 5 years. And number 4, do not buy the foreclosure homes, because this is so much risk. And first of all, it has to be cash. And second of all, there's so much risk involved because you're just blindly buying a home, and especially not having any experience with the construction and the homeownership overall. You just may buy a property that needs to be completely removed, or the property that has a lot of liens and a lot of not permitted areas that may cost you a lot of money to get it fixed. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope that was helpful. My name is Lena Miles and I'm with Westbrook Realty. If you're on the market to buy or sell the home in the Bay Area, I'll be more than happy to assist you with. My phone number is 415-216-5697, and I'll see you in the next video.